as a Christian, I can completely accept that Muhammad was a prophet.
S.A.W. everyone, I'm Aisha Rosalie. This is one of my best videos yet. The non-Muslims asking ChatGPT about Prophet Muhammad. They are so shocked. You are going to be so shocked when you hear their reactions. The Western world is just not taught about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his legacy and what he's done and his great traits. We just don't know about it. We literally know nothing. And trust me, I'm a convert to Islam. I knew nothing. I knew nothing before converting to Islam, and I had an A. I got an A in my GCSE for religious study, and I knew nothing about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This information is absolutely hidden from us. These dawah guys are great at giving dawah, but when ChatGPT gives dawah, it's so much more powerful, because when these guys are giving dawah, as a non-Muslim, I know what this is like. In the back of your head, you're always like, okay, this guy could be lying. His agenda is obviously to get me to convert or to get me to like Islam. So you immediately have that blockage where you don't really trust the person. Whereas this is AI, it has no agenda. So when the non-Muslims are asking AI these questions about Islam, they are absolutely dumbfounded. They cannot believe the response that this non-biased AI is telling them that Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, is one of the greatest men in history. They cannot believe it, and they are like, wow, like, I want to convert to Islam. This is what one of the sisters actually said in one of the videos. And as Muslims, especially Muslims here in the UK, we are statistically the most giving group in the whole of the UK. We are the most giving people in terms of charity, financial wealth. We are the most giving in the UK. Statistics have proven we outgive Christians, we outgive every single person in the UK. And this is the blessed month of Ramadan. So please make the most of every single day. Us Muslims, I don't need to convince you to give. You're going to be giving anyway. The link to donate to the people in Palestine, to the Palestinian brothers and sisters that need us so much in Gaza right now, is in my description, is in my comments. Please donate, even if it's just a little. Now, if you're a Muslim woman and you're looking to build a supportive sisterhood with live classes that will bring you closer to Allah while bringing us closer to each other and closer to your dream life, inshallah, then Khadijah's Legacy Circle is the place for you. The link for that is in the description and the comments as well. Let's watch the video.
Now I'll be asking some questions to ChatGPT about Muhammad and getting the answers. The first question I'm going to ask is, how did Muhammad treat women? That's something that stood out to me whilst I was watching the video, and I would really like to know. That would really help me make an opinion of whether I want to look more into Muhammad or not. So I just asked the question, and now I'm gonna listen.
Muhammad's relationships with women were complex and varied. He is known to have treated his wives with respect and love, and he also advocated for women's rights in general. For example, he spoke out against the practice of female infanticide, and he gave women the right to inherit property and to divorce their husbands.
That's actually
However,
amazing.
Muhammad's views on women were also shaped by the cultural context of his time. He believed that women should be modest and obedient to their husbands, and he allowed men to have up to 4 wives. Scholars have different interpretations of Muhammad's treatment of women. Some believe that he was a progressive figure who improved the lives of women in his society. Others argue that his views on women were ultimately patriarchal.
Well, from that, that makes me believe, of course, that regarding the allowing men to have up to 4 wives and stuff like that, I believe that is a product of Prophet Muhammad's time. So I owe no ill judgment towards him, but the fact that he's known to have treated his wives with respect and love and advocated for women's rights in general, that makes me really surprised, because it's rare that you hear prophets of that time or infamous political figures or anyone of that sort actually having that said about them way back then. So that does say a lot about Muhammad's progressiveness. I was really happy with that answer.
The next question I'm going to ask is, how did Muhammad treat women? Let's see what it says. Prophet Muhammad's treatment of women has revolutionary for his time. He advocated for women's rights in society where they had little status. Here are some key ways he treated and uplifted women. He gave women legal rights, promoted education for women, stressed kindness and respect, gave women the right to choose for their husbands, protected women from harm, involved women in society. Again, very interesting. I didn't know that about him.
How did Muhammad treat women? The treatment of women by the Prophet Muhammad is a subject of considerable historical and religious significance, and interpretations can widely vary based on cultural, sectarian, and scholarly perspectives. Here are some key points regarding of how Muhammad is traditionally understood to have treated women based on Islamic texts and historical accounts. In the context of pre-Islamic Arabia, women often faced significant socio-economic disadvantages and had limited rights. Many practices such as female infanticide were prevalent, and Muhammad's teachings aimed to reform these practices and improve the status of women. Well, that is good. That is what you would expect of a holy man of God, because as a Christian, I believe that we were created equally. Muhammad's rights granted by Islam, Muhammad emphasized the spiritual equality of men and women, stating that both would be rewarded for their deeds. That's good. That's how it should be. Women were granted rights to inherit property, engage in business, and make decisions about their own lives, which were significant advances at the time. The Quran contains verses that advocate the respectful treatment of women and their rights. Gosh, Afghanistan don't seem to have got the memo, do they? Right, marriage and family. Muhammad advocated for the fair treatment within marriage. He encouraged kindness and respect towards wives and emphasized the importance of mutual consent in marriage. He also condemned practices such as forced marriages. Muhammad is reported to have said a woman should not be married without her consent. Absolutely. So, role models. Muhammad's first wife, Khadija, was a successful businesswoman, and their partnership is often highlighted as a model of mutual respect and support. So again, Afghanistan really haven't got the memo, have they? Social justice. Muhammad's teachings included advocacy for the protection of women's rights, especially widows and orphans, and he condemned the abuse and mistreatment of women. Women were encouraged to participate in various social, economic, and religious activities, as they should. Diverse interpretations. Interpretations of Muhammad's teachings and practices can vary significantly across different cultures and sects within Islam. Some contemporary discussions focus on how these teachings are applied in modern context, while some may argue that Muhammad's teachings support gender equality. Others point to cultural practices that may contradict these principles. So the message that I'm getting is that Muhammad actually preached equality to men. That what Muhammad appears to be saying is that women should be treated equally and that they should be consulted and they should be treated as partners. That's a good thing in my book.
The next question that I'm going to be asking is, what did Gandhi say about Muhammad? I have previously been a big researcher into Gandhi and his doings and his speeches and everything like that, and I am curious to see what he said. So yeah, let's have a listen.
Gandhi spoke positively about Muhammad, the founder of Islam. He admired Muhammad's simple lifestyle, his devotion to God, and his courage in the face of persecution. Gandhi also appreciated Muhammad's teachings on peace and justice. In his own words, Gandhi said, "I wanted to know the best of the life of one who holds today undisputed sway over the hearts of millions of mankind. I became more than ever convinced that it was not the sword that won a place for Islam in those days in the scheme of life. It was the rigid simplicity, the utter self-effacement of the Prophet, the scrupulous regard for pledges, his intense devotion to his friends and followers, his intrepidity, his fearlessness, his absolute trust in God and in his own mission. Gandhi's views on Muhammad were part of his broader philosophy of religious tolerance and understanding. He believed that all religions had something to offer the world, and that people of different faiths should respect each other.
I think that's amazing. I had no idea that Gandhi had an opinion on Muhammad, but yeah, there's nothing negative so far that I could perceive as negative. Yeah, it seems that Muhammad overall was very devoted to his loved ones and followers, and he made a really big difference during the time he was alive and after.
Who is the greatest man in history? I'm sure a lot of Muslims would agree that it's Prophet Muhammad, but we'll see what ChatGPT says. He says that depends on how you define greatest. Are you thinking of terms of moral influence, leadership, innovation, or something else? Some of the most widely recognised figures include Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Gautama Buddha, Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, Mahatma Gandhi, Isaac Newton, and Alexander the Great.
Was Muhammad a vegetarian? I'm asking this question because I'm actually vegan, and I believe that all creatures are part of God's creation and that I shouldn't be eating them. Right, let's have a look. Oh, I need to scroll that back down again. I'll read the conclusion first. Muhammad did consume a variety of foods, including meat. He also ate many plant-based foods, and his teachings emphasized moderation and ethical treatment of animals rather than advocating for a strictly vegetarian diet. I think that the takeaway from that comment is that animals should be treated fairly. And from what I can see, he also says that food should be consumed with gratitude and respect. He advocated for humane treatment of animals and proper slaughtering practices, which reflected a concern for ethical treatment in dietary practice. Now, I find that interesting. Now, I'm a Christian, but you can probably tell by looking at me that I'm Jewish heritage, and I couldn't eat pork even when I was a meat eater, simply because it made me really, really ill. But then I did eat all other animals, but I was an advocate for things to be treated fairly and humanely. But now I don't eat anything that's animal based. But I'm glad to hear that Muhammad was saying, be nice to animals. That is a good thing.
Now, from one of the suggested questions, I really want to ask, who's the most influential person of all time? I feel like I really want to ask this question because there is so many answers that this could give. But if Muhammad is mentioned, that is going to further prove to me that the video I watched has a lot of truth to it. So let's listen to the answer.
That's a great question. It's tough to say who the most influential person of all time is, because influence can be measured in so many ways. Some people might say it's Jesus Christ, whose teachings have shaped the lives of billions of people around the world for over 2,000 years. Others might argue for Muhammad, the founder of Islam, whose teachings have also had a profound impact on the world. There are so many other people who could be considered for this title, like Buddha, Confucius, Plato, Aristotle, Einstein, Gandhi, and Martin Luther King Jr. All of these people have had a huge impact on the world in different ways. Ultimately, it's up to each individual to decide who they believe is.
That is actually insane. I feel like before this, I didn't know much about Muhammad at all. And I didn't even know that Muhammad is so influential that it's at the top. And I didn't know that a lot of people think that Muhammad is more influential than Jesus Christ. That is actually putting it into perspective. I feel like before this I didn't know much about Muhammad, but now I'm very curious, to say the least. Very, very curious.
My next question is, why did Muhammad believe he was sent by God? According to Islamic belief, Muhammad believed he was sent by God because he received divine revelations through the angel Gabriel again, experiencing visions and hearing a voice while in seclusion in the cave of Hira, which communicated the message of monotheism and the Quran, solidifying his conviction that he was a prophet chosen by Allah to guide humanity. So that's interesting. So as a Christian, I see that Jesus was God incarnate. I can completely accept that Muhammad was a prophet. So he believes that he was sent by God because he had divine revelations from the angel Gabriel. The angel Gabriel really gets about, and don't they have all the fun jobs.
I'm now going to ask it one last question of, did Muhammad ever lie? And we'll see what he has to say about that. No, Prophet Muhammad was known for his honesty and truthfulness. Even before he became the prophet, he was widely respected in Mecca and was given the titles Al-Sadiq, the truthful, and Al-Amin, the trustworthy. Evidence of his truthfulness, his reputation before prophethood. Even his enemy acknowledged his honesty. Quranic testimony. The Quran strongly condemns lying, in quotation marks, and who is more unjust than one who invents a lie about Allah, and the Quran 693. His personal character. So yeah, in conclusion, he was known for truth, so he didn't lie. Very interesting.
The last question I'm going to be asking is something that I've actually been thinking about whilst I was watching this video, and it is, what did Prophet Muhammad do that was progressive? So I want to know about all the progressive things that Muhammad did, as it seems he was quite ahead of his time. So let me play that.
Taught that women are equal to men. The Quran says that men and women who do good deeds will be rewarded equally. Taught that slavery is wrong. The Quran says that slaves should be treated kindly, and that it is better to set them free. Taught that people of all races are equal. The Quran says that all people are created from a single pair of parents, and that no one race is better than another. Taught that it is important to seek knowledge. The Quran says that people should seek knowledge from all sources, and that those who have knowledge are better than those who do not. Taught that it is important to be tolerant of other religions. The Quran says that there is no compulsion in religion, and that people should be free to choose their own faith.
Right, that was actually a perfect answer. That's honestly what I was looking for. Regarding what he taught about women, I think it's amazing, and I actually looked into this a little bit more myself just now, and it seems he was a big advocate for women also being able to divorce husbands and other basic rights that we have now that at the time not a lot of people spoke out about. Not that I've ever known. Muhammad is the first prophet or speaker that I've ever heard basically advocate for that. That is really the first time, so I'm really shocked at that. And also something else that stood out to me was that he said that it's important to be tolerant of other religions. That's so important, and it's so peaceful to hear that. That we all are just from the same, we're all from the same egg essentially, and we should just treat each other with love and respect. I've loved that answer. And everything, honestly, everything about it. Slavery, that they should be set free. 10 out of 10 answer. I'm really shocked at how progressive these answers have been.
Why do Muslims love their prophet so much? Muslims love Prophet Muhammad deeply because of his character, sacrifices, and role as a guide from Allah. Here's why. He was the best example of morality. That's kind of what he went through in the speech that he did at the end. He brought the final revelation. He endured hardship for others. He showed love and mercy to everyone. His teaching transformed society. Loving him is a part of faith. The Prophet said, "No one you truly believe until I am more beloved to him than his parents, children, and all people." In conclusion, Muslims love Muhammad, and he's not just a historical figure, but he's a role model.